Those things happen.
We're following breaking news this hour. We want to go live right now to College Street, where fire officials are updating us on what is a fatal fire in the area. Let's listen in.
Immediate entry to start primary search while conducting fire operations at the same time. Toronto Fire Services rescued 3 people from the building. Unfortunately, one has been pronounced deceased by Toronto Paramedic Services. The other 2 are in hospital, condition unknown at this time. I want to offer, on behalf of the 3,200 women and men, the Toronto Fire Service, our deepest condolences to those impacted by this tragic, fatal fire this morning. I also want to thank the bravery and the courageous actions of the women and men of Toronto Fire making their way into that building this morning under extreme fire conditions to remove the 3 individuals, and our thoughts and prayers are with those recovering. The fire has now been brought under control. We will be on scene for several hours conducting fire watch and monitoring hotspots. The Toronto Fire Investigations Division has been notified, and the investigation into the origin, cause and circumstances of this fire will be commenced later today with Toronto Police, Toronto Fire Services, and the Office of the Ontario Fire Marshal. I want to extend my apologies to those inconvenienced by the TTC. Obviously, the streetcar service is going to be impacted, has been impacted, and will continue to be impacted for several hours. So, again, very unfortunate situation. Our condolences to those impacted by this fatal fire this morning, and my deep thanks and appreciation not only to the firefighters that went into that building, but also our colleagues at Toronto Police Service and the Toronto Paramedic Service.
Chief, could you speak to, I know you can't talk about the investigations very early on, of course. Your firefighters themselves, when they're met with such dangerous conditions and when their death is involved, is there a debriefing, and how do you deal with the experience of those firefighters?
Yeah, no, thank you. And, like our colleagues at the Toronto Police and Toronto Paramedic Services, the women and men of Toronto Fire, their job is to put their lives on the line, and that is what they accept, and that is what we expect of them to do when life is at risk. The impact, though, of these scenes continually to firefighters, police officers, and paramedics is well documented. And, certainly we have a robust peer support system. We have a dedicated Toronto Fire Services staff psychologist, and in fact, City Council just approved a second psychologist. And again, it is something that we encourage our staff to take full advantage of. So, the health of our staff is our #1 priority. These scenes are tough on all of us, especially, as they repeat and repeat. But we will get through this. Our staff will be fully supported. And again, this is what we expect our women and men to do, is to get into these buildings when we know there are people trapped, which they bravely did. And unfortunately, one person has passed.
Where in the building were the 3 individuals pulled from?
So that will form part of the investigation. I can't comment on that at this time. It's still very early right now. We're still awaiting the arrival of the coroner. And as I said, the investigation will commence with the Toronto Police, the Toronto Fire Service, and the Office of the Fire Marshal.
And I appreciate this is very early, but we're talking adult men and women.
Until next of kin is notified by the Toronto Police, I can't comment on any conditions or any identification of the individual. All I can say is that one person has been pronounced deceased by Toronto Paramedic Service. 2 others were rushed to the Toronto Hospital. I do not have an update at their time, but certainly we are hoping for their full and speedy recovery.
And would this automatically fall under the mandate of the Ontario Fire Marshal's office now?
Yeah, as soon as there is a fatal fire in the province of Ontario, the Fire Marshal's office is notified, and as we do at all times, we will work collaboratively with the Toronto Police, the Coroner's Office, the Office of the Fire Marshal, and Toronto Fire Service.
Any indication if there were working smoothly?
Again, that will certainly form part of the investigation that will be commenced, and way too early to tell. There's significant damage to the rooms and to the unit of origin, but that is certainly something that will form part of the investigation.
What floor is the unit of origin?
I believe it was on the 2nd floor.
Did the fire spread to the restaurant and the 3rd floor?
So I have not been inside, but there is extensive damage, and the crews are still doing overhaul right now.
Any challenges battling the fire? It is a residence that's above a business. Do those pose challenges for firefighters?
Well, again, we are very fortunate in the fact that the women and men, are very familiar with this area. The first-in crews are exceptionally experienced. A lot of veteran firefighters that have worked down in this area for years, and they're very used to some of the challenges that we have in downtown Toronto. Again, my deepest appreciation to my staff for what they did today, the efforts that they did, and just unfortunately, we have lost one citizen.
Thank you, Chief.
Thanks, everyone.
We've been getting an update from Police Chief Jim Jessup on the fatal fire on College Street this morning, and what we're learning about this. 3 people were rescued, 2 of them taken to hospital. 1 of them was pronounced deceased. Firefighters made their way into a building that was under extreme conditions. From what we understand, the fire is under control, and that they're going to be on scene for several hours monitoring hotspots. And also, there's going to be an investigation that will be commenced later today by Toronto Police, Toronto Fire, along with the Office of the Ontario Fire Marshal, and also a heads up for TTC riders that streetcars in the area will be impacted for several hours.